today was no exception when he parked his truck in the dirt drive and got out. He drew in a deep breath of mesquite and creosote, the finest scent on earth as far as he was concerned. The twinkling Christmas lights welcomed him. Allie Bailey, Rick's petite wife, bounced down the porch steps before he even managed to shut the door behind him. "You're late!" Her tight hug told him he was welcome. Had to stop for gas and to walk off the pain gripping his right leg, but he wasn't about to tell her that. He released her and stepped back, eyeing the huge tummy bulge under her sleeveless red top. "You look like you're about to pop." Her bright eyes widened. "How ungentlemanly of you to notice." Her laugh rang out. "It's a girl this time, due end of December. I bet Rick is over the moon." "Sure is. We both want a big family." He followed her toward the house, a sprawling home typical of its West Texas setting. White barns, outbuildings, and bunkhouses ranged over the property. This place was exactly what he needed. A young woman pushing a child in a tire swing under a large mesquite tree caught his attention. He'd seen her before somewhere, hadn't he? Or a picture of her, maybe. In his intelligence position with Special Ops, he read every bit of local news and unusual circumstances that came across his desk. She didn't seem to notice him staring as she pushed the little girl higher and higher. He nodded toward the two. "Who's that? Interested? I think she's single." Allie's impudent grin flashed up at him. Used to friends trying to marry him off, Brendan kept his face impassive. If he ignored the innuendos, they'd leave him alone sooner or later. "She just looks familiar. Was she here last time I came?" Allie shook her head as she mounted the steps to the house. "Lauren just arrived a couple of days ago looking for a job. She was a guest here years ago when she was a teenager. As luck would have it, we were in need of a new horse trainer. She's amazing with horses. It's like she speaks their language. Her letters of recommendation were impeccable, and Rick hired her on the spot." He spared one last glance at the brunette. The ponytail holding her dark hair emphasized her high cheekbones and expressive dark brown eyes. She looked over and caught his gaze. A tinge of color sprang to her face, and she turned away to attend to the little girl. "Her kid?" "No, one of our foster kids here for the summer." Allie opened the screen door. "Rick will be home in a few minutes. He ran to the feed store." When Brendan entered the living room, a whirlwind attacked his good leg. He lifted the 4-year-old into his arms, and little Matthew clung like a monkey. "Hey, squirt." The little boy puffed out his chest. "I'm not a squirt anymore, Uncle Brendan. I'm big." "You've grown 2 inches since I saw you." Brendan set him back on the floor and lifted a brow in Allie's direction. "My usual room? It's all ready for you." "I'll be right back." He sniffed the air, redolent with the aroma of Mexican spices. "Smells like enchiladas." His stomach rumbled. Allie smiled and took her son's hand. "You nailed it." Brendan went down the hall and dropped his luggage, then headed for the kitchen. Allie nodded out the window. "Rick just got back. Have a seat and we'll eat." "I'm starved." He pulled out a chair beside Matthew. The front door banged, and he rose to greet Rick. The two had been in the Marines together before Rick got out and came home to West Texas. Brendan had gone on to bigger and better things with the Intelligence Division, or so he had thought at the time. Now, looking at the happy family around him, Brendan wasn't so sure what he should decide this time. He could take a medical discharge or fight it and end up pushing papers the rest of his military career. Rick hadn't changed much in the 10 years they'd been friends. There were a few more lines around his blue eyes, but his rangy form was just as lean and muscular as ever. As Brendan shook Rick's hand, he noticed another figure behind him. Lauren, the woman from the front yard. Their gazes locked for a moment, then she ducked her head and went to pull out the chair at the other end of the table. Rick glanced her way. "Lauren, he's not as surly as he seems. Smile, Brendan. I know you know how." Brendan blinked, then managed a grin. "I promise not to bite." Lauren's gaze came up, and a tiny smile lifted her lips.